3.5. I think to make this easier for you guys, looking at this homework, it's one that is pretty tough. So I'm going to go through and probably do the majority of this for you. The ones I don't do, you better make sure you go back and finish them because I will not give you credit for homework that I have done. So make sure you do the stuff that you can. And if you can't, then you do need to come in and get some help because I'm leaving you the easy stuff. So in the ready, you're going to identify the features of the following functions. And then it tells you what features you are going to find. So we're going to find domain and range. We're going to find intervals where the function is increasing and decreasing. You're going to use or find the intercepts. You're going to find the maximum and the minimum, and you're going to find the end behavior. I strongly suggest, just because we're trying to get the hang of this, that you plug these equations into Desmos. And I'm going to eliminate number 2. You do not need to do number 2. Actually, you know what? Yes, you can. You can do number 2. I'll help you with how to set up number 2. So if I go into Desmos and I draw the graph for this. Hold on, ignore that. Let's go into Desmos. And I'm going to plug in, what was it? X squared minus 16. So x squared minus 16. Just kidding. Minus 16. Okay, so now I'm looking at this graph. And the first question that it asks me is for domain and range. You will definitely want to put your work for this on another piece of paper. There's not enough room here. Domain is your x values. Because it is a parabola, your domain is always going left, it is always going right. So your domain is negative infinity to infinity. The range, when I'm looking at my parabola, so let me go back into Desmos. When I'm looking at my parabola, my very most bottom number is negative 16, and then my parabola goes up. So my range is going to be a bracket with the negative 16 going up to infinity. Intervals where the function is increasing and decreasing. So if I'm looking here, I'm looking at my parabola. From here, so you can see my little pointer, all the way down, that's decreasing. I'm starting up and I'm working my way down all the way until I hit the 0. Then from 0, I go all the way up. That's increasing. So the left side is decreasing, the right side is increasing. So in order to write my intervals of increasing and decreasing, increasing, actually let me go decreasing first. Decreasing is coming from the left side, so negative infinity. Whenever you write intervals, you guys, intervals are always your x values. So you're not writing an xy point, it's x to x. So from negative infinity to 0, it is decreasing, and then it picks up at 0 and starts to increase to infinity. So you always use your x values. And if I look at my vertex, what is the x value of my vertex? 0. Then it says I need to identify any intercepts that it may have. So intercepts. I go back to my graph. Here's an x-intercept, negative 4. Here's an x-intercept, 4. Here's a y-intercept, negative 16. So using Desmos, that makes this very easy for me. You guys can also factor. You can solve for x that way. But my intercepts were negative 4, 0, 4, 0, and 0, negative 16. Then it wants the minimum and maximum, or maximum. So minimums and maximums happen at the very most bottom value. You cannot have them where there are arrows. So you're really looking at where the graph bottoms out. This has a minimum at its vertex. So it has a minimum of 0, negative 16. And then for the end behavior, you guys should be fine with the end behavior. You look at your vocab foldable, and you guys will be fine with that. And we'll also have added on there by now, because I'm making this early. You'll have on there domain and range. You'll have on there decreasing and increasing. So there are plenty of vocab words that we still need to add to that for you guys to use. But Desmos is going to make your life a lot easier for this. I want you guys to be able to look at a graph and can you tell me everything you know about it? So you're going to do the same for 3 and 4. Okay, I'm not going to do those for you. Type those into Desmos and then tell me everything you know about them. For number 2, and let me get this set up for you. This looks like a recursive equation to me, but it's a little bit different, and that's okay. We would normally see this as f of 1 equals 4, and then we would see this as f of n equals f of n minus 1 plus or minus something. Well, the plus 3 is on the wrong side, so I have to move the plus 3, so it becomes a minus 3. So I know that this is an arithmetic. This is linear because I'm subtracting 3 every time. So this is my slope. So I'm going to start at f of 1 equals 4, and you guys can graph this on a piece of binder paper. So I'm going to come over here. F of 1 equals negative 4. So, sorry, not negative 4, 4. 1, 4. Then I'm subtracting 3. So down 3 over 1. Here's my graph. There would be my y-intercept. So this would be y equals negative 3x plus 4, 5, 6, 7. So you guys can tell me everything from that one now. You guys can look at Desmos. And this is so for the intervals on increasing and decreasing here, domain and range you guys can get. But the intervals for increasing and decreasing, this is only decreasing. So the decreasing, it's always decreasing, so it's negative infinity to infinity. And there is no max and min because there's no peaks. Okay, this is a peak for a max. This is a valley for a min. And again, all this is on your vocab foldable, so make sure that you keep referencing back to it. And then for 5 and 6 and 7, you already have the graph drawn, so just analyze the graph. Domain and range, be careful in 6 because you do have a discrete function, so it's not going to be negative infinity to infinity. You actually have to identify the points that you see. Domain is your x, range is your y. So you would actually be writing this as domain, go from negative 1, 0, 1, 2, and on, get all of them until you're done. Range, a little bit more tricky. This first range value is 16. I'm going to go backwards and then rewrite it the other way. 16. The next one is 8. The next one is 4. The next one is 2. And find the pattern there and get the others and then write it the other way. And then again, there would be no intervals of increasing or decreasing because this is a discrete function. No min or max because it's a discrete function. Don't overthink these. And if you're still not able to get it, come in at lunch or before school. I'll help you. Bring your Chromebook. We'll put these into Desmos and we'll identify all the key features of the functions. Okay, now for this set. Intercepts. We've been going over how to find the intercepts. We've been going over how to find in behavior. We just went over about increasing and decreasing. And then you're going to use all of that to make a graph. Please make sure that you guys, again, are using your vocab foldable. So let's see, do I want to pick one of these and do one for you guys? Yes, I will just go ahead and do the first one. So to find the intercepts, I'm going to put this into factored form. Factored form gives me the x-intercepts. So I know my x-intercept is going to be 1, 0. Now if I multiply, this gives me standard form, which is x squared minus 2x plus 1. Well, that gives me the y-intercept. My y-intercept is 0, 1. End behavior. This is a parabola, that opens up. So I know my end behavior is infinity, infinity. As x approaches negative infinity, y approaches infinity. As x approaches infinity, y approaches infinity. So that takes care of the intercepts and the end behavior. Then it says, where is the function increasing and decreasing? So what I need to do, I need to create this graph so I can find my intervals of increasing and decreasing. And we've talked about this in class. So I have one x-intercept. That's at 1, 0. I have one y-intercept. We did this in 3.3's RSG. When there is one x-intercept, it is your vertex. So I can find this guy's friend on the other side. And there is my parabola. So this is the side that is decreasing. The right side is increasing. So to write my intervals of increasing and decreasing. Intervals for increasing, that's the right side. So I go with the x value, which is 1, and then right side goes to infinity. Decreasing, left side, so negative infinity, and it's going to the 1. So your intervals of increase and decrease are always going to match up, you guys. Hopefully this isn't too bad. Hopefully you get it, because we're going to just beat this in class. We're going to kill it. We're going to understand it. We're going to add it to our foldable. Hopefully we will be fine with it. So now you should be able to go through and do 8, 9, and 10. If not, you know where to find me. I'm going to change the directions for the go, so you're not going to do these down here. Okay, I don't want you to worry about that. What I want you to do for the go, and for A through E, you can use Desmos. This is what I want. So if you guys are not paying attention, I'll tell you in class, but I'm telling you again now in the video. What I want you to identify. First, you're going to tell me what is the type. You're going to tell me domain and range. So pretty much what you guys have done in the others, but the graph is done for you. I want where it's increasing and decreasing. I want max, min. I want intercepts, both x and y. I want end behavior. So that's pretty much covers everything that we have talked about so far. I want the type, domain, range, increasing, decreasing, max, min, intercepts, end behavior, and you know what, just for the heck of it, I want the degree, and I want if it's odd or even. Okay, so you got a lot that you have to do there, but use Desmos to make your graph. You don't need to redraw it. I'm not going to make you go through and do that. Just use the graph that's in Desmos. Put your answers on a piece of paper. Okay, so you're going to have extra paper with this one. So make sure you guys are following my directions. And when you guys come in to show me your homework and I'm telling you, sorry, you did this wrong, it's going to be your fault for not watching the video. So make sure you guys watch them, take notes, write stuff down. Remember, watching the video is not just pressing play and leaving. You need to watch the video. You need to take notes. Be an active participant, please. All right, that's it. I'm going to wrap this one up. It's long enough. I will see you tomorrow.